Brian, Mitch Garbutt and Liam Sutcliffe back in the 19. Are they going to make the 17 this week?
Yes, yeah, both will play. And it's been a long journey for both of those fellas. Sutty played a few weeks ago with a foot injury that we thought was right. You know, just unfortunately got a bang right on it again, so it set him back. But we've had to be really cautious this time. So he's glad he's back, and then Garbs has been out since Melbourne, I think, which is crazy, isn't it? So long time out.
When you consider Mitch in particular, what are your expectations tomorrow of him, bearing in mind the position he plays and bearing in mind how long he's been out?
Yeah, that's it, and I think that we expect him that if he just comes off the field with a decent workout, blows a few cobwebs out and doesn't incur any more injuries, and you know, then we can start building up from there. So it seems to say this most years we'd like to give them a little bit longer, have their introduction back into playing first grade a little bit. Not the curve not being as steep straight into it, you know, but we don't have a choice because we've got that many men missing, so you know, both those players will go straight back in.
Had you had a fitter squad, could you have seen those guys playing dual reg before Super League? Probably, especially Mitch Garbutt. He's been out for such a long period of time, he's going to be dusty. You get two back, you lose Carl Ablett and Jimmy Kindhorst. How bad are they?
Yeah, both going to be a few weeks. I've got the best politician for a physio. He's very good, Andy Barker, and he is really good at getting them back from injury. But he will not put a time scale on anything. I can't pin him down. So, and it's probably right as well that he does that. So you know, Jimmy Kay's done a hammy there, and it's a decent hammy he's done. He's you know, we're looking at anywhere between 4 and 6 weeks with him. Ablett could be, you know, similar, but I'm hoping he'll recover earlier. I don't know what I base that hope on. Yeah. I'm just hoping. Got my fingers crossed.
Have you got anyone else to come back in the near future?
Oh, Callum, no. Peter, no. Help me, I can't remember the list. Jamie Jones, he's going to be another month at least. Then another couple in there. Mooney, chances. You know, Mooney's getting close most weeks. He's one of them frustrating injuries that we often talk about, where you know they start to improve after the initial breakdown, and but then he just plateaus out. That level of improvement just plateaus out, and he can't seem to get that Achilles right. So yeah, it's frustrating for him. One of our strike players, Mooney, that we're missing there. So it's a big one. You know, he could be available next week, but equally, if by Monday or Tuesday it hasn't improved, I won't be surprised. And Brad Singleton is with his son. He has his pot off on the 25th of this month. Where are we in now? Is it like the first or second now?
A couple of weeks.
So he's a few weeks away, isn't he? Yeah.
It's a long list.
Yep.
How do you gauge the Giants at the moment?
Dangerous. I think they're a dangerous team. I think they're you know, those teams, including ours, you know, that can be inconsistent. You don't know what they're going to do, and I think there's some danger in that. I think if a team's consistently poor, you can plan accordingly, and while there's always a threat they're going to be good, you know that you can maybe control the game and manipulate the game so they end up being poor again for that particular week. But when the teams come up with some good performances, some really good performances, and then they're not, it's hard to gauge. You know, from our point of view, it's hard for me to prepare the fellas and say this is what you're likely to face. So by that token, I think there's a dangerous fixture, this one.
Have you managed, from what you've seen footage-wise, to detect any changes that the new coaches actually implemented?
If I did, I wouldn't say. I don't know. I think he's only been there a number of weeks, and
he seems to be better defensively.
He can get them to do certain things. Yeah, any coach can get a certain team, especially a new coach can say, right, that one's gone. Here's a new set of standards, and most players will react to that within a week or so. Whether that is sustainable or not is whether whether the changes that he's implementing will stay there over a number of weeks. You know, we'll see in a few weeks, few months' time. But they look a bit more confident. You know, they're less erratic in defensively. I would give you that, less erratic and more confident than what they were. I don't think they were poor beforehand. This is my point. I'm struggling to make. I don't think they were poor beforehand. They were just so inconsistent, Huddersfield. Where the only consistency is that when they play Leeds, they get up for the game. That is the only consistency. But you know, they had the potential always under Paul Anderson, under Rick Stone, to be a very, very good team. You know, they've got a pretty well balanced squad, some big men, some blokes who can play, some athletes, and then on any given Sunday they can just nail it, and that's what we're aware of as well.
Just a word on Ash Handley's new deal. Deserved that, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. Has he ever? He's been really good. What Ash Handley was with us for a couple of seasons was a man with potential. Yet you wondered whether he was ever going to realise it, you know, and start to put that in place. But since Jimmy Kay was out on loan and Liam Sutcliffe's been injured, that he's grabbed his chance. He's gone really well, and it's not without. He hasn't been perfect, but it's good that he had a really poor game at Hull, Ash. And my biggest compliment to him a few weeks ago now. He had a really poor game at Hull and didn't, just off the mark. And his reaction to that has been great. And in the past, when Ash has done something not up to standard, it's taken him too long to get back on the horse. Well, the week after we played Hull, he was very good, and he's been good since. He got some nuts and bolts in his game. He's an improving player. Still only very young. Still got a bit to learn, but he's walking around with confidence, and rightly so.
Has he made that shirt his own?
No, not yet. Not yet. No chance. Between him and Sutty and Jimmy Kay, and listen, whoever else, I think that number 4 shirt there is a bit fluid at the moment, and it's a really good position for me to be in, because either he nails it and he's very good. Jimmy Kay comes in when he's injury free, and he's good. And Liam Sutcliffe's already proven to be a very consistent player in that shirt. So it's an exciting period for whoever gets hold of that shirt. They need to play well.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian, it must have been quite frustrating for Jimmy Kay so soon after coming back off loan and getting back into the side for this injury to him, and the manner in which he did it as well, probably for you very typical of the player.
Yeah, it's just crazy for Jimmy. I remember last year he was going really well, then he snapped his finger, and you know, and then after that struggled to get back in the team. You know, but up until that point had gone, you know, was outstanding for us. He'd been on loan to Widnes and, you know, done the hard yards there, and we call him back, and it looks like he's going to get a number of games, you know, for a period, and just crazy how he does that. So he's pretty disappointed, Jimmy. But you know, these things happen, and we got to you know, adjust. And just luckily, it's the same week as Sutty comes back from injury. You couldn't write a script, could you? The same week that Sutty comes back, and I want that selection headache. I'd like to have that. I don't have it because Sutty goes straight back in.
Talked about the confidence that a win could do last week against Lee. Have you noticed anything different, perhaps in training? You know, perhaps more confidence around the lads, more smiles on face. Have you noticed?
More smiles, yeah. I think not that it was doom and gloom anyway beforehand, but nobody likes losing, and you don't want to be losing. You don't have to be dissecting losses through the week. But so during the period where we've been losing, we know what the answer is, and it wasn't a case of that they weren't putting enough effort in, or it wasn't a case of anything to be ashamed of. So the place hasn't been dark and gloomy, but you know, we win, and it's a pretty convincing win against Lee. And you might just write up and say, well, they're a championship team, so therefore, you know, it's expected. But if you look at the dynamics and all the connotations going into that game, where we were out of form, we were missing a shed load of men, they were starting to get some form. They've already been beating a Super League team. There was a bit on that, you know, and the way we handled the pressure of that game, and especially when we went that first try down, It was good. It was good to see. I was pleased for them. Pleased how they conducted themselves against what could be a bullying team in Leigh, and they just never had a sniff Leigh. They didn't, you know, they tried to, but they couldn't. And some of our young fellas stepped up, and while losing is never great, as long as we're taking positives out of it, and one of the positives is that some of our young fellas again in more experience, becoming better players, handling certain situations. If we'd have played Leigh in the Challenge Cup a couple of years ago, and I'd have thrown an Ash Hanley in there, and Ash Golding in there, and Jack Walker in there, and Josh Walters in there, and Cam Smith in there, I'm not so sure, but you know, I can see how they're different players, different people now than they were during 2016. You know, and Ash Hanley skips round a couple of defenders and races nearly the length of the field to feed Ash Golding for a try. It's a really good passenger player that's just full of young people that have earned their stripes. So yeah, beating Leigh, it's not just the win, it's the way we did it, and it's all the little subplots that go into it. Everybody's in a decent mood.
In a view on the semi-final draw, obviously you're playing Warrington not for a few weeks, of course, but what are your thoughts on that?
It's good. It's good. That'll be a big game. They've hit a purple patch, haven't they, Warrington? And they're doing a lot of things well. So and got a good squad who are uninjured at the moment, which is a factor. Isn't that a factor within the game? So yeah, we're looking forward to that. 80 minutes away from Wembley, it's great.
Thoughts on Jordan Lilly? Obviously he's back in the side and kicked 8 goals last week. First of all, will he keep his place this week? And also he said a couple of interesting things to me midweek in terms of proving that he's worthy of a place to you, himself, and that he mentioned the word trust as well, that the players around him trust him to make the right decisions with the ball, without the ball. What's your thoughts on that?
It's good. He's a smart bloke. Because that's exactly what they do need to do, and that's some of the conversations that take place. Jordan was blessed with vision as a kid, you know, and hasn't worked for it. That's certain players and certain people are blessed with traits that that's what it is. They're blessed with. They don't have to work for it, whether it be speed, strength, vision, intelligence, whatever it may be. And Jordan was blessed with vision on a field. He can see things, Jordan. And you know, when he would play at a lower level, you used to watch him play for our 16s, then in the 19s, then go on loan to Featherstone, and he would just completely unpick the opposition with some really smart players, you know, some real choice kicks. And yet when he come with us, you know, the game's played a bit faster, the athletes are a bit bigger, and he has to concentrate on other areas of his game. So the vision part of it, he left alone for a while. Yet he would try and come up with a play which just wasn't what we needed, whether it be a kick or an actual play. He tried to come up with something which is not what the team needed, but it's what he saw. And now he's more akin to playing for the group, giving the group what they need, which is what half-backs should do. And if he can just go on the field and service our pack and give our pack a great platform so they can be good. You might think that's the pack's job, but kicking game, you know, when to kick, choice of kick, choice of players at the end of your possession, you know, your final plays. He has a bearing on how good our pack can be, and you know, I thought against Leigh was great. Not that he did too much and didn't catch the eye too much, but as an half-back he provided us with a great service to our pack.
A couple of players in and around his age group or younger have broken into the side and claimed a starting place. Are we seeing a slow progression with Jordan for any reason that you can see? Is it just positional wise? Is it just the environment perhaps?
Well, he's getting older. He's getting older as well, and bearing in mind they're all young fellas, and you know there's no rocket science to why Ash Golding's, you know, coming in the team and doing a great job. Ash Hanley's coming in the team and doing a great job. You know, you knock together a number of games, you're going to get better at it. And Jordan, because he plays such an important position, gets less chance than maybe Ash Hanley. You know, so it's fair to say that when Jordan plays, we do scrutinise him. He ain't like playing a prop and there's another 3 props on the field and sometimes 5 props on the field doing a similar type of job. So if you don't nail it as a prop, you know, we can get it off and, you know, you fly under the radar almost. If Jordan's not doing a good job, it hurts us, hurts the whole performance of the team. So, you know, he gets scrutinised with that. But he's getting older and getting wiser.
I usually ask this question, I'll ask it in a slightly different way. You've got a range of home games coming up now. I think you've got 2 or 3 in a row, including Huddersfield. Do you need to win them all before Cass to break into that top 4, in your opinion?
Yeah.
Have you set yourself a target?
Yeah. Yeah.
So your target would be 4 wins, 3 wins?
Yeah, no, we got to win them, yeah, to get in the top 4. That's it. That's an easy question. I mean, I can answer that question for you. We need to win those to get in the top 4. Ask it a different way, though. Go on, ask what you want to ask.
Is
Say
the
it.
Huddersfield game a must-win for you?
No. There comes a point in time where, yeah, it starts getting like that. But you know, I don't use that terminology with the players. It never gets to the stage where you threaten the players and say, we must win this game. You know, everything's about long-term and progressing and building. But yes, I concede that numerically you've got to win games now to get in that top 4. For us and Huddersfield, it's a really interesting fixture this. You know, if they don't win this one, their job becomes increasingly hard. If we don't, you know, it makes our task difficult.